Our theme for this year, Rooted in Love. It's a very powerful theme. It's one that has the power to bring tears to the eyes. It's one that has the power to transform, to change, and to renew. And our topic for this month is our neighborly love beyond the fence. Neighborly love beyond the fence. Get a subtopic, however, and that subtopic is His love is the door. His love is the door. Last year, our theme was strengthen what remains. This theme was taken from Revelation chapter 3 and verse 2. Could you give me that, please, for a moment? I'm going to give you the text for today, but just give me that chapter, Revelation chapter 3. We're going to stick in there for a little bit. And then give me verse 2. Revelation 3. Interesting text. As I went over that this morning, I realized something that I thought it necessary to share with you, my brothers and sisters. I thought it would have been selfish of me to keep it to myself. This text says, be watchful and strengthen the things which remain, that are ready to die. For I have not found thy works perfect before God. I'm persuaded by the fact that our theme for last year, strengthen that which remains, comes from this verse. And if it didn't, it certainly associates with it. Because strengthen the things which remains is present. But what is also present is be watchful. If in 2024 he's telling us for a whole year to strengthen what remains, and then he comes back in 2025 and he says to us, be rooted in love. It is with an agenda and a purpose that our God has for us. God never just speaks because he got a mouth. He promised to lead us, to guide us into all truth. And I certainly believe that's what he's doing with this text last year and into this year. You know, in Matthew he says we must be mindful and we must watch. And if we are watching, and notice what he said from last year to strengthen what remains, and then he talks to us about love this year, be rooted and grounded in love, and we are watching, then it tells us that he's up to something. And just to share with you just a few of the things that in my heart of hearts I believe that God is saying to us as a church in Faith National. I want us to look in Revelation chapter 7, Revelation chapter 3, verses 7, and then we're going to go through to 13. So we're still in Revelation 3. I just thought to share what I noticed this morning before I got into the text, which is still chapter 3, verses 7 through 13. And it reads, "And to the angel of the church in Philadelphia writes these things, said he that is holy, he that is true, he that had the key of David, he that opened it and no man shut it, and shut it and no man open it. I know thy works. Behold, I have set before thee an open door, and no man can shut it. For thou hast a little strength." Oh, we got some strength. "And has kept my word." Oh, he's given his word. "And has not denied my name." That name is Jesus. "Behold, I will take them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee, and to know that I have loved thee. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. Behold, I come quickly. Hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown. Him that overcometh, I will make a pillar in the temple of my God, and he shall go no more out. And I will write upon him the name of my God, and the name of the city of my God, which is New Jerusalem, which cometh down out of heaven from my God, and I will write upon him my new name. He that had an ear, let him hear what the Spirit said unto the churches. There's a whole lot of stuff that's going on as it relates to the church of Philadelphia. And I don't think we're going to get through all of that. But we'll go as God leads and allow us to go. He writes these words to the church of Philadelphia. May I say to you that of the churches that Jesus has met, that speaks of in Revelation chapter 2 and the verses chapter 3, of these 2 chapters, he speaks about 7 churches. And of these 7 churches, every one of the churches whose names have been mentioned, of all of them, the only name that still exists in an everyday language is the name Philadelphia. Now, the reason for that, in my humble opinion, that in this one church name, and if you have time, go back and look it up. Revelation chapter 2 and 3, you will find all 7 churches that is mentioned, that Jesus speaks about. But the one name that still stands, as I said, is Philadelphia. Because in that one name is contained the very purpose of Jesus' church. By definition, the meaning of Philadelphia is brotherly love. The greatest commandment: love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and all thy soul and with all thy strength and with all thy mind. And the second is to love your neighbor as yourself. Your neighbor is the person sitting next to you. That is your brother and your sister in Christ. Hence the name Philadelphia, brotherly love. The gates of hell cannot prevail. Brotherly love is what Jesus died for. Hell will try, but it will not overcome. Because the love of God is just too powerful to be overthrown by the force of darkness. In fact, it is just the reverse. It is love that has the power to cover the multitude of sins. Go to verse 7 for me. Drop to verse 8. I'll come back to that. I know thy works. Behold, I have set before thee an open door. No, go back up to 7. Go back up to 7. And the angel of the church in Philadelphia write these things, said he that is holy. This is no ordinary person who is about to say what he is about to say to us. He's not wondering, he's not guessing. This person is Jesus. He's sending a message to the church of Philadelphia, the church of brotherly love. And for the record, for the 3rd time, I've said that the church, our topic for this year, is being rooted and grounded in love. And if we are sent and been instructed to be rooted and grounded in love, then this message comes to us. Now, the validity of this message is very important. This is no ordinary message. This is not a sermon, by the way. This has everything to do with our lives. And so before we choose to accept any thought by which we are going to live, we must know how valid what is said really is. Is it truth? I've come to say to you that it is truth, because the one who speaks it is holy. The one who speaks it is Jesus himself. And that's important. That's important for us to know and to accept. Because Jesus, who says he is the Holy One, he says that he is holy. He is holy because the God of heaven, his Father, from whom he came, is holy. And if God is holy, then he who is the Son must be holy. And if he speaks to us about anything that he instructs us to carry out, it's with the intention and the expectation of us to be holy. For the disciples was instructed to be as he is with the Father. So are they to be one with him. The fact that he comes and declares that he is holy because he came from God is reason enough for us to pay close attention. Because what he speaks to is about our very lives, the lives that the Creator God himself has given to each and every one of us individually. Our lives are not our own. He goes on to say that he's not only holy, but that he is true. And he is. Everything he speaks is truth. It is impossible for Jesus to lie, because he's nothing but truth. And because we are all in search of truth, and we are in search of truth. Have you not noticed that people would talk to you and they say something to you and you doubt it and you say, is that the truth? You sure you ain't lying to me? Because it's the innate nature of human beings to want the truth, because we realize, even though we don't always acknowledge it, we need truth. We want truth. Husband says to the wife, tell me the truth. Parents says to children, tell me the truth. Where is that coming from? When we lying? I say we, not because that's what I practice, but because no good thing dwells within flesh. And so he speaks true. He says, what I'm getting ready to tell you is true. You could live your life by what I'm going to tell you, and the outcome is going to be what I say it's going to be. This is how powerful Jesus' words are. Because Jesus is so powerful, he has the power to cause anything that he says to come into being. He causes it all to be. And then he goes on to say he. It's amazing how he's talking about himself as if he's not even there. And he's having a conversation with John the Revelator, one of his disciples. But we don't have time for that discussion right now. I got to move on. We got to move. That's a topic, a sermon for another time. He's talking to John, one of his disciples, John the Revelator. He said, he that had the key of David. Very powerful group of words. Not only is he holy, not only does he speak truth by which we can live, but he has the key of David. The key of David, and John recognized exactly what it was, because in the days that John lived, he realized that among his people, the key of David was symbolic of all power and authority. Because King David had not only control over the northern kingdom of Israel, but he had control over the southern kingdom of Israel. He had all power and authority in the north and in the south, and only King David was able to do it. And he says, John, as you understand in your land, in the earth, know that I who speak to you, Jesus is saying to John, I have all power and authority, but my boundary is not northern and southern. It is heaven and it's earth. He's got all authority in the heaven and in the earth. He's saying this, he's leading up to something, you know. He ain't just talking and having a conversation. He's talking, he that openeth, listen to what he said now. He said, he that openeth, that's power, and no man shut it. He's talking about two forces. The forces of hell and the forces of heaven. He's telling us in this statement that they are at war. That's why he says you don't wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principality and spiritual wickedness in high places. Why do we look at the person and think it's them that's doing something to us? He says the door I can open, no man can shut, and shut it, and no man open it. Go to verse 8. He says to the church of Philadelphia, the church of brotherly love, by extension, Faith National. I know thy works. Behold, what works? Do we not feed the hungry? Do we not pray for our brothers and sisters? Do we not assemble with our brothers and sisters? This is the work. Tired. Come home from work a long day, but I got to go to Bible study. Tired, had a long night, but I got to go to church. It's not a religious thing, you know. It is the Spirit of God that drives to the place where we believe we'll find him, to the place where we believe we'll meet him, because I got to get to his presence. And if I get to church, I know he's going to be there. If I can get to Bible study, I'll hear his voice. If I can get to prayer meeting, my eyes are his, and I can't even roll out of my bed, but I got to turn on the phone because I got to get to Bible study. See, I'm after not the Bible study, but who's in the study. I'm after the prayer meeting, not to the prayer meeting, but who's in the prayer meeting. I got to get to church, not because of the building, but because who's in the church. If I can get to Jesus, I'm going to be okay. I'm hurting now, but I'm going to be okay. I'm in pain now, but I'm going to be okay. My spirit is beaten down, but if I could get to church, Brother Charlie, if I could just hear the organ play, if I could hear the drum beating, if I could hear the praise team singing, it'll pull me out. It'll pull me. It will reach down on the inside of me and cause something deep down inside to come alive and cause me to praise. Weak, but I gotta fight my way through. Tired, but I gotta fight my way through. He said, I know thy works. Behold, this is where he's coming to. From verse 7, and saying that he's home, and saying he has the key of David, and that he's the door that no man can shut, no man can open. This is where he's coming. I have set before thee an open door. Now, see, the reason why I got to walk through this door, but even before I walk through the door, I gotta find it. I gotta find it. And I know, I recall Jesus saying that he is the door. So if I can get to Jesus, then I'll find the door. If I can get to the door, greater are my chances to get through it. Because I've overcome one hurdle already. I didn't even know where it was, but I had to find it. Now that I found Jesus, that's why he said, hold on to my name. Hold on to the name. If nobody else would open the door for you, all you got to say is Jesus. If nobody else would open that door for the child, because they may not think that you're worthy. I may not think that you're worthy. But if you know the name, if you know his name, and you call on the name that you know, he said he'll open the door. Oh, he'll open the door. See what he opens. That you have is not in a man. It is in his name. And his name is Jesus. Hold on to my name. And no man can shut it. Now that's the part that you got to be a little careful with. Because it's good that we're in. We found the door and we found our way in. But we got to be careful, Sister Hill. He's going somewhere with this, you know. Amen. He says, no man can shut it. Now I understand that no man can shut it. But if I'm not careful, I might cause myself end up on the outside with that door being shut. So I've shut the door on myself, because he won't force you. He will knock, but we got to answer. And when he opened the door and lets us in, we got to be willing to stay in. And the only reason why he's saying that no man can shut this door is because what he tells us, if we'll follow the instruction, we're safe. And now I'm going to close this. I'm going to close this. But I got to tell you this. When Jesus says, he's the door, and he called the church of Philadelphia the Brotherly Love Church, and he sends them the message. The message that he wants them to have is the message by which he placed in their name. It is the same message that he has sent to Faith National for 2025. That message is love. See, he said, love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and all thy soul, with all thy mind, and hold on to this, and with all thy strength. He said, we've got a little bit of strength left. Put your hands together, because you got a little love left. The love that we have, if we would just take the love that we have and hand it over to him. His love says, they have told you to love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But the problem with hating your enemy is this: that if you let hate get on the inside of you because of your enemy, the enemy will allow that to grow. And so I gotta keep hate outside of me, Sister Heath. You know why you gotta keep hate on outside of you? Because that's not his instruction. That's what they say. Here's what he says: I got to love. You got to love. You got to love your enemy. You got to love everything that you come in contact with. You got to love everyone that you come in contact with. If you go to work, you gotta love your boss. If you go to work, you gotta love your co-workers. You gotta go. If you get married to go home, you gotta love your spouse. You gotta love your children. No matter where you go out into the world, you gotta love. Love, love, love. Love the trees, love the dog, love the cat. No matter what you gotta do it, but just love. Because what you practice, you will become. He says, I am the door. That dog is love. When you walk through the door, as you go through the door, the walk never stops. It's a continuous walk. It's a continuous walk. It's a walk in his words. It's a walk in his truth. And if he say, love your enemies, it's because he's got an open door. And you nor I knows what's on the other side of that door. Why risk losing what Jesus has to offer over anything that man will do to you on this earth? I said that because the enemy uses us against one another. He'll do it if we let him, Pastor LJ. He'll do it. He will use husband against wives, children against parents, friends against friends, siblings against siblings. Let no one cause us to get put out, but to be steadfast and to hold on to the name of Jesus, because it is he and only he who is the door of love that will allow us to get through to the door of heaven. Give God a praise, because that's our ultimate destiny. That's where we have to go. That's where we want to be. The door of heaven is the door to the presence of our Father. Let nothing, not even us, cause us to not walk through that door. Give God a praise in the house.